late after seeing a continued spike in coronavirus cases across the state. We want to zero in on what's next after Governor Ivey extended the safer at home order until July 31st.
Joining us right now via Zoom is Athens Mayor Ronnie Marks, who serves on the state coronavirus task force. Mayor Marks, good morning.
Good morning to you.
As you've been noticing along with us for some weeks now, some people are adhering to the governor's order, others not so much, especially when it comes to masking. So how concerned are you about the higher numbers of cases we're seeing and the attitude of some that it's a freedom issue and, hey, if I get the virus, I just get it?
Well, it's quite a devastating situation. Seems like every time I talk with you guys, it's not good news. But I want to encourage everyone like Governor Ivey did, and we had just to put it in perspective, we had a press conference on Friday at City Hall with our EMA, city, county, medical staff people, and encouraged wearing face masks and social distancing and sanitizing. And yet you go out and you're around a group of people, excuse me, and you don't see half of the folks wearing a face mask. And you know, it's like people say, well, just like you said, some people think, well, this is not real stats, it's not really. But I tell you, when it impacts you and your family and your friends, you recognize that it is a real situation and a very serious situation. For example, in the state on Friday, when we gave the stats, we had 33,717 cases. Yesterday, we had 37,536. We had 21 deaths. So this situation is not going away. It's very concerning, and it's very troubling that I get a stack of phone calls of people demanding that I mandate a face mask order, when indeed the enforcement of that or the penalty with that is people saying to me on the other side, just like you said, wait a minute, we have our rights, and people have stood up and said, you know, I fought for this country. I have a right to decide. So it's a very critical situation that I want to emphasize to people. We're going to try to do a special city council meeting Friday morning or Thursday morning, maybe even tomorrow, to say with city council and all of us standing together with Dr. Paul Fry, who is the chief medical officer at Athens Limestone Hospital, say, guys, I'm concerned about the 4th of July weekend. I'm concerned about socializing. We are socially starved, and we are COVID fatigued. We are fatigued on this situation, and yet it is so real, and it's kind of like, hey, it doesn't affect me until it affects me. And I don't know what to say from a political standpoint other than to beg and plead for people to say, please wear a face mask. At this time, I am not willing to implement a mandated face mask order because, again, I don't know how you supervise it. I don't know what you do with that situation. And it's very critical, and I appreciate you allowing me some time just to express my passion over this, to say, guys, take this serious if you get out. And if other people get out, you know, I don't mean to say quit calling me, but quit calling to tell on people. You know, if you don't like what you see at a store when you're there and nobody is masked, and you think we all ought to be masked, then just don't go. You know, I hate to break it down that blunt, but at this time, it's a very critical situation. Numbers are not going down.
I mean, you're exactly right. We do know, you mentioned about joining together to show how important it is that we follow these guidelines going into the holiday weekend. We know you have that red, white, and boom 4th of July fireworks show in your city, and you've set it up in a way that people can celebrate and social distance, correct?
Well, we tried to. You know, we also had singing on the square and some events a couple of weeks ago, and again, people were so socially starved to meet with other people that suddenly you saw people running up and hugging each other's necks, and some of them had on masks and some didn't. We've tried to set the fireworks show up to stay with your families, stay with the people that you came with, stay in your car, and we've got a radio station that you tune in on, hear music behind it, and watch the fireworks. So we are expected, unless there's bad weather on Saturday, at about 8:40 to have a fireworks show here in Athens, because I think it's important. Quality of life still goes on to the best of our ability.
Well, Mayor, we're going to make sure that Carson Meredith gives you some good weather this week. No pressure, Carson. We do appreciate you joining us.
I'm counting on you, man.
We'll have you come back on anytime because we do know and we strongly believe this is an important time, an urgent time for our country and our community out there. So, Ronnie Marks, Athens Mayor, thanks for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
Time now is 6:14. Coming up, new coronavirus case predictions.